The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show, a Hoop Ball presentation. This episode is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Get some delicious coffee and taste the Kona difference. Head over to hawaiianisles.com or Amazon. My name is Adrian Benjamins, and I'm joined by Captain Curt Beach. Curt, how are you, brother?
Adrian, I'm living a dream, my good man. It's nice and cold outside. It's snowing. I got a fire in the grate and a whiskey in hand. Talking some hoops with one of my best pals here, so I'm stoked. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I could not do the whiskey tonight, man. I went pretty heavy on Friday and Saturday, and I'm feeling a little hungover today. So I was like, man, and I still thought about pouring a little ginger and whiskey into a cup, and at the last second, I was like, oh, I can't do it. So I'm sorry. You're gonna be drinking solo tonight. I'm just pounding some water.
No worries, man. We're not as young as we once were.
Oh, dude, I totally feel it now, man. And I went kind of big last night, so definitely I gotta lay low today. Curt, we got a pretty good slate of games. Not too heavy, only 5 games on tap, but there were some good ones, man. I think you and I, we love to talk about box scores, so I think we should just jump right into it. What do you think?
Let's do it.
And wait, you know what? I mean, it's been pretty. You and I were just talking about how it's been pretty quiet. There's nothing huge as far as like news or notes that you think we need to hit, right?
No, nothing monstrous. I think everyone knows about Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic being down for a while.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything too crazy in the last couple days. We're kind of at that lull, one of those first lulls, where you're not going to see any of these crazy monster guys pop up on the waiver wire. You're looking for some incremental moves up that you can make. Maybe there's somebody who's a little bit better than one of your bottom guys, but not any huge moves. You're probably looking to take advantage with some trades. That's probably your biggest focus at this point in the season.
Yeah, I agree. And at this point, what your weakness is on your team. For example, my home league, I need some big man stats. I'm low and I'm like down at the bottom in rebounds, and I think I'm like last place in blocks in that league. It's a roto style league. So already I'm focused on trying to make moves for big men. And if there's a couple guys to pick up off the wire, I'm always leaning towards the guy that's going to get me those rebound block type stats. So you got to know right now, guys, what your team needs are. Go out and hammer trades. Keep working the wire. Keep improving your team. It's a grind. Just every day, go at it. All right, Curt, let's jump into this, man. I think the first game of the day was the Dallas Mavericks and the Houston Rockets. Pretty good game. The Mavericks getting the victory 137-123. I'm going to jump in on the Dallas side of this game first, and how can I not start with Luka Doncic? Man, 41 points with 10 assists, 6 rebounds. He added 5 threes, shot 15 of 29 from the field, 6 of 8 from the line. This guy's been incredible. If you want to complain about something, I guess he had 6 turnovers, but Curt, I don't even care, man. This guy has been insane, and I feel like every show it's just rave time about Luka Doncic. He's just been out of this world. Tim Hardaway, 31 points, 2 steals, 5 assists, 4 boards, 5 threes from him on 10 of 18 shooting, 6 of 7 from the line. Porzingis with 23 points, 13 rebounds, a block, 2 steals, 3 assists, 2 threes on 9 of 17 shooting. It's a pretty good game from him. Dorian Finney-Smith with a double-double, 12 points and 10 rebounds, a steal, a block. 2 threes on 4 of 11 shooting. A lot of good lines here tonight. But the guy who hasn't been having good lines is Dwight Powell. 2 points. Did have 2 blocks to steal. That's nice. 1 assist, 5 boards, but man, only took 1 shot in 26 minutes. Just the usage rate is so low. I've seen him hit the wire. Even in my deep leagues, I've been seeing him hit the wire. So most everybody's pretty sour on Dwight Powell. Off the bench, they got a nice game from Maxi Kleber with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, but I don't really trust him or really anyone else off the bench here. It's really just Porzingis, Luka, and then every once in a while you'll see some other guys step up like Hardaway and Finney-Smith did here tonight. Curt, what do you think of the Dallas Mavericks?
Adrian, it's pretty much Porzingis, Doncic, and a bunch of zombies. And Hardaway has been hot the last 3. He's gone for 22 points, 4.3 triples, 4.3 assists, and low on the turnovers. So he's really hot the last 3, but he's not super great on the season. I think he's number 225 in totals and 261 per game. So based on the season numbers, definitely not even an ad in 16-teamers. But, it's not all about the numbers. He's putting this up in the last 3 games, led the team in minutes, so worth a shot there. Like you said, Dwight Powell, I think he's a drop pretty much everywhere. Maxi Kleber's actually got the higher season-long and per-game numbers on the year. It could be because he's coming off the bench, so he gets a little bit more opportunity than Powell in the starting lineup. Man, you're really just kind of grasping at straws here. If you're in a roto league, DeLon Wright is somehow still clinging to number 102 on per-game averages. But other than that, I'm not running to the wire to pick up any of these guys. If you have somebody you can cut and you're looking for a 3-point streamer, I could see taking a flyer on Tim Hardaway, but it could be just the same that you're dropping him in a day or two. The main thing here, and this isn't really news to us, but Luka Doncic, man, I just got to harp on him like you said. The Mavericks come into Houston with 20-year-old Doncic and Porzingis, who's, 21, pretty young himself, and they just embarrassed Houston on their home court. And Houston really had no answers for Doncic. It was pretty crazy. They just could not stop him no matter what they did. This guy has been an absolute beast. He went in the second round in a lot of drafts, and that got mixed reviews. Some people were saying, it's a good spot for him. Some people were saying that's way too early with his percentages and turnovers. His percentages are great this year, and turnovers, who really cares if you're in an 8 or 9 category league, because those elite players are going to turn the ball over like crazy anyway. You can sit in the corner and not get any turnovers, but that doesn't necessarily make you a great player. And it's kind of funny, Adrian, I have a question for you, because I was thinking today, I sometimes like to do my drafts a week or 2 weeks apart. You get different bits of information, and I don't normally do one this late, but I'm kind of intrigued to go on Yahoo and start up a draft and just see how things would fall into place at this point in the season, knowing what we know. And I'm thinking, if I had a top 1, 3, 5 pick, who I would take, and I think I would still go Harden number 1, but then I'm at a struggle for number 2. I could see Cat, I could see Doncic, I could see AD. Let me just hit you with that, Adrian. If you were in that spot and we were drafting today based off what we know, who would be your top 3 to 5 guys?
I would go Harden number 1, and I had the number 1 pick in the Hoop Ball Staff League, and I went Anthony Davis, and I totally regret that now. I wish I went James Harden. And then I would still go Karl Anthony Towns. I think you still could go Anthony Davis shortly after that as well. If Curry wasn't hurt, I would still like Curry up there. And then I think Luka goes just after those main guys. And, for me, Curt, Giannis and Luka is kind of close, because I know Giannis is a stud who puts up these gaudy popcorn lines, but he really does hurt you at the line. And he really does hurt you in a few categories. So I don't know, man. I kind of almost want to lean Luka over Giannis. So maybe right there at that 4-5 spot is where I would go Luka. And Curt, before this year started, I would have never have thought I would have said that. In fact, Curt, in my home league, somebody took Luka at pick number 10 overall, the end of the first round, and a couple of us, this was like a live draft. We were all gathered in a garage. All these guys were in a garage and we were drafting on a board, and a bunch of us started laughing when Luka went off the board at pick 10. And that guy who picked him is now laughing at all of us, man, because he knew, I mean, he just absolutely loved Luka. He thought Luka was going to break out the way that he is. And dude, I just love that he went and he got his guy. So, I don't know, man. It's really tough. I mean, Luka's definitely now a first rounder, but I'd still probably put 4 guys ahead of him. I don't know. What do you think about it, Curt?
Yeah, I think you're pretty much on pace there, Adrian. I think it's close when you get to him versus Giannis, but I think I'd go with Luka because Giannis has great numbers, but the 59% this year on 11 free throw attempts per game really hurts you there. I mean, worse than Andre Drummond back in the past. So for that reason alone, I think I'd lean Luka at that point. But it'd be hard to argue, like you said, the guys, Harden, Cat, AD. So I definitely understand it there. Man,
Hey,
I wish I could have those old school draft.
You know, a guy I was forgetting too, by the way, who he's probably falling off a little bit because he's missed some games, but Damian Lillard was like at the top of the player radar before he got hurt with I can't even remember what he got hurt with, and he's missed some games. So I know he's not now. Now I think he's fallen to like 5, but he was like at the top of that player radar. So that would be a tough decision too, Curt. Damian Lillard versus Luka. I think I might lean Lillard there, but it's close, man. And I mean, you're just kind of you're just being really nitpicking because it's so tight that I don't know, man. I think whoever you like, go get your guy right there. Curt, what went down on the Houston Rockets side of this game?
All right, sir. For the Houston Rockets, man, they need Eric Gordon back. Something serious, or anyone who can do anything off the bench. Everyone is getting 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes off the bench. The only guys off the bench that are doing anything in terms of minutes are Austin Rivers and Ben McLemore, and they're still not doing anything. They each got 23 minutes for Rivers, 21 for McLemore, 4 points, 2 points. Nothing to see here. Doesn't really matter how deep your league is. So really, it's just the starters. And when you come up against a team like the Mavericks, who looked so good tonight, they were playing team ball, where the Rockets come down there and they play ISO and just were getting shut down a lot of the time. So the Rockets really need any kind of extra scoring punch that they can get. Luckily, they got Daniel House back tonight. He went for 16 and 2 with 1 steal and 3 threes. He's a pickup if he was dropped anywhere. PJ Tucker, 16 and 5, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes. He's having a great year, should be owned in all leagues. Clint Capella, man, people thought Westbrook was going to eat into his rebounding numbers. How's that looking right now? 21, 22 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, no blocks tonight, but he was 10 of 16 from the field, hurt you at the free throw line, 1 of 5. But in his last 7 games, if you ignore free throw percentage, Capella is a first-round guy, putting up 14.1 points, 14.1 boards, 0.9 steals, 2.1 blocks, 1.3 of 2.7 free throws. So even though his free throw percentage is bad, he's not shooting all that many. He's really missing 1.4 per game compared to somebody like Giannis, who's missing about 6 a game. Anyway, James Harden tonight, a little bit of a quieter night from him. He had 32 and 9 with 11 assists, 1 steal, 2 threes, and 6 turnovers. I really needed some threes from Harden in a couple of leagues to win a head-to-head matchup this week. He shot 15, but only made 2 of them. And that second make wasn't until about 2 minutes left in the game. So he was giving me some anxiety. I think I lost threes in that matchup. Russell Westbrook had 27, 5, and 6 with a steal and 2 threes. Surprisingly, went 9 of 10 from the free throw line. That's a nice little boost from Westbrook. Especially with the Rockets having no depth this year. People talked about how Westbrook and Harden couldn't coexist, but they really need each other. And even as a Harden owner, I don't have Westbrook anywhere. I have Harden in a couple places, And sure, you get excited when you hear Westbrook's not going to play, and you know Harden's just going to feast in terms of usage. But honestly, even as a Harden owner, you want Westbrook out there. Like, you just need somebody who can take some attention on the defensive side and give Harden some open looks, because this Houston team is going to struggle really bad if they do not find somebody who can contribute off the bench. Man, that's really all there is for Houston is the starters. Adrian, what's your take on the Rockets?
I'm super happy that Daniel House is back. I've got him in a ton of spots, and he's just been one of the best pickups off the wire for me. So I'm ecstatic that this guy is back. And you're right on, man. It's just these starters. You're really not trusting anybody else on this team. And from a reality standpoint, the Rockets aren't bad. They should look to strengthen their bench somehow, because if they're really serious about trying to contend in the West and make a run in the playoffs at a title, they're definitely going to need more depth off of the bench. So I think you were right on there with just how bad their second unit is. It's pretty bad. All right, let's jump over to the next game. The Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks. The Nets getting the victory 103-101. This one was really close. I'm going to take a look on the Nets side of this game. And Spencer Dinwiddie has just been locked and loaded with no Kyrie, no LeVert. He's just got that backcourt to himself and had 30 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes. He went 13 of 14 from the line, 7 of 17 from the field. It's a pretty good game from him. A lot of nice lines, actually, from the starters in this game. I'm seeing Garrett Temple getting picked up in a lot of leagues. He had 12 points tonight, 2 steals. Didn't do much else. Did have 4 threes, but he's been a decent streamer in standard leagues. Turian Prince doubled with 14 points, 11 boards, 5 assists from him. 2 threes on 6 of 14 shooting. Jarrett Allen is definitely the center that you want to have in Brooklyn. He's just killing DeAndre Jordan. He had 18 points, 10 boards, 1 steal, 1 assist. He shot 8 of 11 from the line. That's nice. And 5 of 9 from the field. Joe Harris with 13 points. Didn't do too much else. Always good for a few threes, though. He had 3 of them here tonight. Shot 4 of 13 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Don't trust anybody off the bench on this team. And let's see, I don't know when we're going to see Kyrie. I'd expect him back sometime this week. We know LeVert's going to be out for a while longer. Curt, what do you think of the Nets?
Man, Adrian, I think you nailed it. Garrett Temple got a little buzz earlier in the last couple of weeks, but he's not a standard 12-team league guy. Maybe in 14-teamers, but I think it's even a reach there. Maybe 16-teamers. He's going to score and hit some threes, but as I see tonight, if he doesn't hit his shot, the line is pretty hollow. So I don't think he's a standard league guy. DeAndre Jordan, I think, is so over-owned. And sure, he's number 120 on a per-game basis in 9-cat, but only 16 minutes, 6 and 5. I think he's owned, last time I looked, in like 77% of leagues. That's just shocking to me. Anyway, like you said, Adrian, they're missing Irving, who's supposed to be out another few more games. And Dinwiddie's going to feast in that time. You could maybe try to sell high, but I think a lot of people are going to see that coming a mile away. Everyone knows that Irving's out. Other than that, like you said, not a whole lot here. We're seeing this as a pretty common trend in a lot of teams at this point in the season. It's pretty much the starters and not a whole lot else.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, what happened with the New York Knicks side of this game?
All right, sir. Frank Ntilikina, he's been a popular guy in recent weeks. He had no defensive stats tonight, which is what you're looking for from him. He did play 32 minutes, which is encouraging. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 3. DSJ got 20 minutes tonight for 10 and 5 with a steal. But we haven't seen Elfrid Payton yet, and we know that Fizdale kind of leans toward Payton. So I got some questions on whether Frank Ntilikina is a must-own guy. To me, he is not at all. If you want some assists and defensive numbers, he's a decent pickup, but he's not a must-own guy. And as guys like Elfrid Payton come back, and we see a three-headed monster kind of emerge here with Ntilikina and DSJ, I don't really want anything to do with any of them, kind of like the scenario in Chicago. Julius Randle. This guy was a pretty hyped up mid-round guy. He went for 15 and 8 with 4 assists, no steals, no blocks, 1 3-pointer. And what's crazy to me is he's number 238 on a per game average, 197 on totals. A lot of that is because of his percentages. He's at 43% from the field, 61% from the line, and 3.6 turnovers. That 3.6 turnovers really hurts you from a guy who's not elite in any other category. That's like late first, early second round territory in terms of turnovers. And somebody who's getting you that amount of turnovers is somebody who's usually elite across the board in other areas. So Julius Randle is deceivingly bad. I'm glad that I don't own him anywhere. Some of his popcorn numbers are nice, but again, he's deceivingly bad. If you can get out from under him and trade him for a top 75, top 50 guy, I would do that in a heartbeat. Marcus Morris Sr., he's having a really good year. 33 minutes tonight, 26 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 7 3-pointers. This guy's having a great year. He's top 75 by most counts. And, you never know what's going to happen with the Knicks. Fizdale seems to trust him. He led the team in minutes tonight with 33. He's having a really good year, but I would probably try to trade him because you never know what's going to happen in New York. If Fizdale gets fired, his role is in jeopardy. Everyone's role is in jeopardy. Probably the guy who could do the best with a firing of Fizdale would be Mitchell Robinson, who came off the bench for only 19 minutes, 6 points, 3 boards, 3 blocks, and fouled out. Also, RJ Barrett didn't play tonight, so Kevin Knox got the fill-in start, but only went for 5-3-3, 1 steal, 1 block. Taj Gibson started, didn't do a whole lot. And really, the bench is so sporadic. You don't want to trust anyone here. Bobby Portis, who was nice in the beginning of the year, played 17 minutes for 3 and 4 with 1 assist, 1 steal. Adrian, I don't like anyone in New York. I wouldn't mind owning Marcus Morris, and I would buy low on Mitchell Robinson. What is your take on New York?
Man, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Marcus Morris would be the best fantasy option on this team, I would have said you were crazy, man. But he looks like the best guy to me. And I know a lot of people are getting excited about Ntilikina, but Curt, I'm slightly concerned. They got Dennis Smith Jr. back, who played 20 minutes, I think, in this one, and we're still waiting for Elfrid Payton to return. So even though I do think Ntilikina is the best out of those 3 guys, but I don't know. You still got a 3-headed monster in that backcourt. So, I don't know. I'm just not excited about anyone. Curt, going into the drafts, I completely avoided the New York Knicks. I hated trying to figure out who Fizdale was going to play last season, and I didn't want to deal with it. And I'm really happy that I avoided them pretty much in all my leagues. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Knicks. Let's go over to the third game of the day, the Kings and the Wizards. The Kings getting the victory, 113-106. I'm going to take a look at the Kings side of this game, and I'm going to start with Curt, another guy I grabbed in a couple of my main leagues, Richaun Holmes.
Sure.
He has just been insane. Doubled here tonight, 16 points with 10 rebounds. But what I really love are the 6 defensive stats, 4 blocks to go along with 2 steals. He shoots it pretty good from the field with 7 of 9 here today, and then a perfect 2 of 2 from the line. This is outstanding. And Curt, I got the player rater opened up right now, and where did I see him? And now I can't find him, of course. Oh, Curt, I don't know if this is right or if I am looking at this incorrectly, he's sitting at a third round value in 9 category leagues. I don't. That sounds absurd. That can't be right, but that's what I'm seeing here on my computer screen. So, if you picked up Rashawn Holmes, congratulations. I know I'm feeling really happy about it. Last thing I want to say about Holmes real quick. Bagley's gonna be back, but I think Holmes has earned himself the starting center position, hopefully for the rest of the season. And with Bagley slated to play the power forward spot, I'm hoping this means Holmes is going to stick at the center spot next to him, and we still see Holmes get big minutes like he saw 36 here today. Okay, let's move on to the rest of this team. Buddy Hield with 18 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Always good for some threes. He had 3 of them. Well, he only shot 4 of 14, but he was a perfect 7 of 7 from the line. Barnes stepped up big in this one. 26 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, 3 threes, shot a really efficient 7 of 8 from the field, 9 of 11 from the line. Belitza somewhat of a letdown here, only 6 points, but he did give you a block, 3 steals, 3 assists, 12 rebounds. Just the shooting wasn't there tonight, only 3 of 11 and 0 of 4 from downtown. A guy who's been really good since Fox has gone down is Bogdanovich with 21 points, a steal, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes on 7 of 16 shooting from the field. He's been pretty good. I think we're not going to see Fox for a little while. That ankle sprain that he had, I think it was a grade 3, man. That is a killer. It takes a long time to come back from that. So keep Bogdanovich locked in your lineup. And let me see. Who else? Nobody else really that gets my attention here. Curt, what do you think of the Kings?
Man, like our overlord Aaron Brewski always says about Rashawn Holmes, this guy's a monster. I'm stoked about picking him up in pretty much every league he was available in, for the leagues I was in. And what's crazy, I think I saw this on RotoWorld, Dwayne Dedman makes 3 times Holmes' salary, and Holmes has rendered him completely useless. Like, he's not a grab in, maybe even in 30 teamers. 7 points, 1 assist, 1 steal. I wouldn't be picking him up pretty much anywhere. I'm stoked about Holmes. Really, the only thing that can slow him down usually is foul trouble. He only had 3 tonight, so that allowed him to get 36 minutes. I'm a tiny bit, I wouldn't say concerned, but when Bagley comes back, I think it's going to cut his minutes a little bit. And the only reason I think that is, while it makes sense for Bielitsa to take the hit, Holmes isn't a floor spacer. You know, he's, I think, number 3 in the league for field goal percentage from most players. So I'm a little concerned on that, only because Bielitsa can hit those threes. So they might continue to give him run. I don't think he's a preemptive drop like some people are saying. I would keep holding Bielitsa. But Bagley can hit some of the threes. So if it goes like you said, Adrian, and Holmes keeps the starting center spot and they put Bagley at the 4, I think they could have a really nice team here. Bogdanovich, I have to highlight this again. Let's see, over the last 14 days, by average in 9 cat, this might blow your mind. He is number 6.
Wow.
6 on 51% field goal, 90% from the line, 3.8 threes, 21.5 points, 3.3 boards, 8 assists, 2.8 steals, and 3 turnovers. Absolute monster. Number 6, guys. So if you own him, this is pretty clearly a sell high. His value will probably never be higher than it is right now. And sure, people know Fox is out, so you could ride this, but I would definitely try to sell high here. And another guy that is also, well, he's not a sell high, but he's a buy low, is Buddy Hield. He came into the season at number 36 on a preseason ADP. He's currently number 93 per game and 103 on totals. He's down about 4 points in his field goal percentage. He's turning it over about an extra time per game, and he's scoring about 2 points less. So we always know Buddy Hield as being a good guy. He's kind of a low-key, under the radar, buy low candidate, especially for somebody who really is married to the rankings. That's all I got here, Adrian. You want to hear about these Wizards?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Let's go with Rui Hachimura. 7 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 3. Kind of had some buzz coming into the year as a rookie, but he's barely holding on to standard league value. You could cut him and you wouldn't get any complaints from me. Thomas Bryant having a good year with 14 and 8, 2 assists, no threes, no steals, no blocks. He'll be fine. Isaiah Thomas. I have to be honest. I picked him up everywhere, drafted him in the last round in a lot of drafts, and I was getting a little worried after this last game. I haven't seen the flashy pop-off games that I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Boston Celtics IT by any means, but I was expecting like a pop-off game here and there. It was pretty nice. And by average, he's 156 on the year. Total's 195. He's disappointing a little bit, and I got to be honest, in one league where I'm really stacked, I considered dropping him the other night. But tonight, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. You won't see that often from him. And 4 3-pointers. I'm going to keep holding on there. Troy Brown Jr. played 15 minutes, didn't do a whole lot. He's a drop in most leagues. Bradley Beal, this guy, 20 points, 3 boards, 8 assists, 2 3-pointers. So on the season, he's number 15 per game in 37 minutes per game. Over the last 2 weeks, he's number 3 in 39 minutes and 12 seconds per game. That's an insane amount of minutes. And he's doing that on 57% from the field, 86 from the line, 3.4 threes, 37 points, 4.6 boards, 8 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.2 blocks, 2.8 turnovers. Just monster numbers in the last 2 weeks. So he is definitely a sell high in the last couple weeks. And honestly, I know he's done it before with the 82 games per year, high minutes. I can't see how he keeps this up. Like, the Wizards are so bad, currently 5-9, which I guess isn't disastrously bad. And I know he wants to be a leader, and I know he wants to play. But later on in the season, if you're the Wizards front office, it makes no sense to be running him out there 39 minutes and 12 seconds per game. So I think he's absolutely a sell high. In Roto leagues, just ride it out probably and see what happens. But in a head-to-head league, I would be terrified if I owned him, because when it comes to playoffs, I really want my first-round pick to be there, and I don't know if he will be. Off the bench, Davis Bertans had 12 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 threes. He's having a really nice year. Mo Wagner usually struggles with foul trouble, but tonight he did not. He only had 2 fouls. He only played 19 minutes. But in those 19 minutes, he had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. No 3 steals or blocks, but that's a great night for Mo Wagner. If you have somebody to cut at the end of your bench, he's already been a standard league guy, and he's doing this in limited minutes. He's number 105 on a per-game average in 9-cat and 114 on totals. Find a way to pick him up if you don't own him already. Ish Smith got 24 minutes, didn't do a whole lot, more of a 16-team guy. Jordan McRae got 24 minutes, nothing to see there, maybe a 16-team guy. Let's see if I missed anything. I don't see anything else. Isaac Bonga got 1 minute. He was a starter in the beginning of the year. 1 minute tonight. If you haven't cut him in a deep league, he is by all means a cut candidate. Adrian, what is your take on these Wizards?
Man, you covered it all. I dropped Troy Brown. I had him in some deeper leagues, and when he got moved in the starting lineup, I thought it was Troy Brown time, but he just is not doing much. And I like your take on Beal, and you pretty much nailed it with all these guys, man. Let's jump over to the next one. The Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets getting the victory 116-104. I'm going to take a look at the Phoenix side first. Going to start with Dario Saric, who had a big double-double, 18 points, 17 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 4 threes on 7-11 shooting. Devin Booker, somewhat of a down game from him, only 12 points, 5 assists, 1 3, but he'll be just fine. Oubre, somewhat of a down game as well, 10 points, 2 assists, 1 steal. 4 of 12 from the field from him, but Oubre's been pretty good, just just stay the course with him. Kaminsky, Kaminsky got the start, but I don't trust him. 7 points from him tonight. Tyler Johnson getting the start for Rubio. He had 7 points, 3 assists. So we have Czech Diallo was the big winner off the Suns bench. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He shot 10 of 12 from the field, so really had it going and played 36 minutes off the bench. So he's been pretty good. A guy I have in a 24-team dynasty league, and I'm really happy to see him show a pulse, is Eli Okobo, who had 16 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 threes on 6 of 11 shooting from the field. He's kind of emerged as a really deep play with the absence of Rubio. But in standard leagues, I would not even look at him, and he's likely going to fall out of the rotation as soon as Rubio comes back here. Let's see. Bridges, man, I know I've seen him get picked up and put back on the wire, picked up, thrown back on the wire. I don't trust Mikal Bridges. I don't think it's going to happen for him this year. I hope we see Rubio back soon. Really curious to see what this team's going to look like when Ayton gets back in the fold as well. They're also missing Baines, who was playing really good before he went down. So this team definitely missing some of their key guys. Curt, what do you think of the Phoenix Suns?
Man, Adrian, I think a week or two ago I told you that my hot take was the Phoenix Suns make the playoffs. They were about 7-3 at that time. Now they're 8-8, so sitting at 500. If you're in the East, that's good enough to make the playoffs. But in the West, they're going to have to pick it up. They can't get Oubre back soon enough, man. He helps everybody when he's out there. Devin Booker, this was probably his worst game of the year. Probably the same with Kelly Oubre. They cannot wait to get this guy out there. They need this playmaker. They're also hurt, like you said, by Baines being out. And hopefully he comes back soon. Having Baines and Ayton out is really hurting them. They're really struggling. Bench, like you said, Mikal Bridges, I picked him up in one spot after his last couple good games. And it looked like he was kind of absorbing some of the role that Dario Saric would normally play. But tonight, Saric had a big game, that 18 and 17, like you explained. But in his last 4 games, he's done nothing of note. I do not think he's a standard league guy. You'll probably see some people run to the wire to pick him up after this one. I won't be one of those people. I doubt you'll be one of those people. Check Diallo also. The last few games, 13 minutes, 14 minutes, 15 minutes, and tonight, 36. So again, don't expect this on a regular basis. Phoenix Suns, if they're gonna hold me to what I said and get in the playoffs, they really need to get some guys back here. I think Ayton's missed, I want to say 15 out of his 25 games, so he's due back pretty soon. Probably won't happen at this point, but maybe you could try to buy low. He's still got to miss 10 more games. However, if an owner has already been sitting on him for the 15 games he's been out, I doubt they're going to sell him, but worth a shot. Adrian, you want to hear about these Denver Nuggets?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So Nikola Jokic, his up and down season continues. 8 points, 13 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. No threes, but 2 steals, no blocks. He only took 9 shots. From a guy that they want to be the leader of this game, or of this team, only 9 shots. He was behind Will Barton with 18, Jamal Murray with 21, and even old man Paul Millsap with 12 shots. So come on, Jokic, you got to take lead here, buddy. Paul Millsap had 23 points, 5 rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks, but 2 threes. His amazing free throw percentage continues this year, 9 of 9, 100%, and 6 of 12 from the field. So he's not sexy by any means, but he's getting it done. Keep owning him. Last time I checked, he was about a top 75 guy. Jamal Murray, 22 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 4 threes, 9 of 21 from the field. Nice night from the Blue Arrow. Will Barton, 22 and 8 with 4 assists, 1 steal, 4 threes. He's having a good season. Gary Harris, 6 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. No steals, which is one of his strong points. Usually no blocks and 1 3. He played 35 minutes, so you can't say it was about the minutes here. Gary Harris, man, I liked him a couple of years ago when he was a top 40, top 50 kind of guy. He struggled with injuries. I've held on in a couple leagues because I was hoping for better. He's not even he's borderline 12 to 14 team league guy, and I'm dropping him anywhere where a hot free agent pops off. Off the bench, we have Jeremy Grant, who played 21 minutes. We thought maybe he could exist this year alongside Paul Millsap, maybe even overtake Paul Millsap. We haven't seen it so far. 3 points, 5 boards, 1 block. He's dropping pretty much all formats. Off the bench also was Mason Plumlee. He got 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block, but he only played 16 minutes. So this isn't something that you're going to see happen every night. 14, 16 teamers, you could probably grab him if you're really desperate for a center. But really, it's kind of the usual suspects here in Denver. Adrian, what's your take on these guys?
I think you nailed it, man. It's as you said, just the usual guys, and with this team being as deep as it is, you don't want to stray from their main guys because their secondary guys could put up real just low-end nothing lines. So it's really, in standard leagues, tough to trust any of these other guys. And I don't have a lot of Denver Nuggets this year, and I actually feel okay about it because I don't know, on night to night, it's like a different guy can go off, even though all of their starters are definitely playable, viable guys in standard leagues. But still, it's just really tough to rely on any of them. And really strange to see Jokic off to such this slow start that he's on. Currently putting on 3rd round value in 9 category leagues. So I don't know. Maybe a good buy low candidate for right now. All right, Curt, let's jump to the final game of the evening. The Clippers and the Pelicans. The Clippers getting the victory here, 134 to 109. I'm going to look in on the New Orleans side of this game, and I guess I'm going to start with Drew Holiday, who, after a really shaky start, has definitely been coming around. He had 18 in this one with 4 assists, 7 boards, no defensive stats, 2 threes. He was perfect 2 of 2 from the line, 7 of 15 from the field. One of the biggest surprises of this season's probably been Brandon Ingram. 24 points, a block, 5 assists, and 8 rebounds with 3 threes, 9 of 22 from the field, a perfect 3-3 from the line. He's been really good. If you have him on your team, you likely drafted him in the later rounds, and he's definitely killing that value for you. JJ Redick, 12 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 threes on 4 of 9 shooting. I know Williams is a popular pickup in some deeper leagues. Doesn't score a lot of points, but usually can get you some boards and some defensive stats. Only had a block and 5 rebounds, 3 assists here today. Jackson Hayes is another guy that I've seen picked up in quite a few leagues. Only 7 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. I actually own him in some leagues, some Roto Game Cap leagues, and didn't play him tonight because I thought the Clippers could be a tough matchup, and I think that's what we saw here tonight. He had 5 fouls, so likely dealing with some foul trouble as well. Off the bench, Lonzo Ball, 9 points, 5 assists, 1 steal in just 21 minutes. I know he's been dealing with some minor injury stuff, but really hoping he turns it around. I don't have any shares in Lonzo Ball. I just wanted to see him have a good, productive year. So really hoping he gets in the starting lineup soon and starts having some good games. They got Okafor back in this one, who had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 6 shooting. I think Okafor could be an option in some deeper leagues until Favors gets back, or until this team gets healthier. This team missing a lot of guys. Favors out. Josh Hart is out. We know Zion Williamson is still going to be out for a little while as well. Not too much else to talk about. Curt, what do you think of the Pelicans?
Man, so many things. Mostly just piggybacking on everything you said, Adrian. Like Brandon Ingram. I don't know if it's a characteristic of coming from the Lakers, kind of like Julius Randle, but we've known him to be a popcorn guy. Points, boards, assists, nothing else. This year, he has shown that it's just a transformation. He's getting threes. He's getting defensive numbers. Jackson Hayes, I wish he could stick in the starting lineup. He seems to be a better fit than Favors, but I don't think it'll happen when Favors is back. Okafor is back now, and when Zion comes back, it just convolutes things even more. JJ Redick's having a good run, but again, there are pieces missing, and when everyone's healthy, I think he's going to be a low-end standard league guy. He might even be below the cut line. Like you said, Okafor returned today. He's a decent low-end guy. The thing that I thought was interesting here was there was a quote by J.J. Redick a few days ago where he said that the team has finally found a starting lineup that works. After shuffling in, shuffling out pieces, guys getting injured, guys coming back from injury, he finally said they have a starting lineup that works. You know what that starting lineup does not include is Lonzo Ball. Only 21 minutes. So I don't know. I watched the preseason games with Lonzo, and he seemed to have fixed his shot in terms of from 3-point land. And he's still going to get assists. He's pretty decent in the defensive categories. So even if he's going to play low 20s in minutes, I think he's a guy worth owning. And I'm sending out some buy low offers for him. I was able to reel him in for deal for Patrick Beverley. Pretty excited about that. Tonight has me a tiny bit concerned, but Lonzo Ball kind of contributes in all categories minus points. Kind of similar to Patrick Beverley. But other than that, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was exciting coming into the year. But this team has so many pieces, and Josh Hart didn't play today. He's not a standard league guy as much as we want him to be. Adrian, did I miss anything here, or do you want to hear about the Clippers?
You nailed it, man. What went down on the Clippers side of this game?
On the Clippers side, my good sir. So, it was a blowout, so the minutes were a little lower for some guys, including Kawhi Leonard. But he still got out there for 28. He chipped in 26 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, no defensive stats, 2 threes, and 10 of 12 from the free throw line. His shooting from the field kind of hurt you, 7 of 19, but only 1 turnover. Decent Kawhi Leonard line. Mo Harkless, he played 23 minutes, didn't do a whole lot. Not a standard league guy. Ivica Zubac, 17 minutes and fouled out for 5 points, 10 rebounds. I don't see him as a standard league guy, but 14, 16 teamers, you could probably do worse than Zubac. Patrick Beverley, I just talked about, just traded him away. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. No steals, but 2 blocks and 2 threes. He doesn't need to shoot a lot. He doesn't need to score a lot to contribute across the board. Paul George, he had a very bad shooting line tonight, 6 of 20, but he chipped in 18 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, and 6 3-pointers. He'll be fine. He'll probably be a first-round type of guy. Off the bench, Montrezl Harrell went big with 34 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 0 turnovers, and 8 of 10 from the free throw line, and 13 of 18 from the field. Amazing line from Montrezl Harrell. He'll probably come down slightly as George and Kawhi continue to be the focal points of this team. So I think he's a bit of a sell high, but then again, you could also ride it out. I don't think he's going to come down too much. The guy who I think will probably take more of a ding than Trez is Lou Williams. Lou Williams tonight had 19 points, 3 boards, 4 assists, 2 threes, and 5 of 7 from the free throw line in 25 minutes. I think over the course of the season, the value that he's had up till now will gradually come down little by little. He'll still be a standard league guy, but if he goes off in the next game for 25, 30 points, I would sell high for him in an instant. Otherwise, off the bench, JaMychal Green got 21 minutes, didn't do anything. Jerome Robinson got 15 minutes, didn't do anything. Rodney Magruder, 17 minutes, didn't do anything. There's really, besides Trez and Lou Williams, you don't want anyone off the bench here. And as for the starters, you don't really want anyone besides Kawhi, George, and Beverly. If you're in a deep league, you could look at Zubats. Adrian, what's your take on these fellas?
You nailed it. You covered it all, Curt. I would just be saying what you said. You nailed it, man. It's just those main guys. Montrezl Harrell, just, I love your take about him maybe seeing a minor hit, but he's still going to be good. The guy is just so aggressive. They need his strength in the front court. He's like that main man in the middle for them, does all the dirty work. So I think he'll be fine for the season. I really like your take on Lou Will, maybe the guy who's going to take the hit. He's been so good. I didn't really want to have anything to do with him because I was scared of how stacked this backcourt was. And I think as they get healthy, they're still missing Shamet as well. So I think, I think Lou Will is still going to be okay. He's going to have nights like tonight, and then he's still going to have nights where he goes for 30. But I do agree that he's probably the guy that takes the biggest hit when this team is fully healthy and rolling. Curt, that's all I got, man. It was a good night of hoops. I hope everyone had a great week. I think we're rolling into week 5. Are we going into week 5 or week 6?
I think it's 6.
Oh man, I can't believe how fast this is going by.
It's moving.
It is insane. Curt, where could the listeners find you at, man?
Adrian, you can find me. Listeners can find me at Captain Canegas at CaptCaneghis. Kind of a weird spelling. Check out the description. It's probably listed there. Just hit us up. We really, really want to know what you guys think about how we're doing. There might be something that you want us to touch on that we haven't even mentioned. Maybe we're doing something great. Maybe we're doing something terrible. Please let us know. Hit us up on Twitter with your questions. We'll be able to respond pretty quickly. Ads, drops, trades, anything like that. Adrian, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Adrian Benjamins. Please, just like Curt, feel free to hit me up for anything, questions, advice. You guys want to hear something on the show, anything you want us to do differently, just hit me up for anything. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting the show. Curt, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. I can't wait to talk to you again next Sunday. And thank you guys very much. We'll see you next time.
Have a great night.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.